Jade, thanks so much for joining me. I'm really excited to have you on. So how have things been going this year so far?
This year has been a little bit crazy. I hurt my back, so I've been off work pretty much since the beginning of the year.
Oh
And
no.
so I've been taking it easy a little bit, just moseying around the house and trying to get better. So yeah.
Well, hopefully you get better soon.
Yeah.
Gotta get you back out there. So let's get into it. So I really love your music. I'm a big fan. Your voice and your songwriting is really incredible. It's so powerful. So what made you get into music in the first place?
Thank you so much. I have been singing for pretty much as long as I can remember. Like I remember being like the smallest. There's a video of me somewhere, and I was like 2 years old running around singing. So I've been doing this pretty much since I was born. And then I started writing really early as well. Like I was like probably 7, maybe 8 when I started writing. So it's kind of always been there. And I think I use it a little bit as like an outlet for myself. So I grew up moving a lot. Like I lived literally everywhere in Manitoba, I swear. Every year almost. And that was like my safety blanket was music. So it's always been a part of my life.
Read that so how you write songs is you don't play an instrument, so
No.
you put it into your phone and they just kind
Yeah.
of come through.
It's so funny. My producer laughs about this all the time, but like when I have an idea, I actually just finally started co-writing for the first time. Like
Okay.
I've never been a co-writer person. I've always just written on my own, and then I take it to the studio and we, just do it there. But I normally I'll just be sitting here or in my car or wherever, and like a song will just come and I have to record it right away, and then finish it later. So yeah, I have a lot of voice notes, not so much lately, just because I've been more focused on my son, and trying to keep trying to keep up with everything is a lot with like a baby and music and a career and everything else. Like it's just, yeah, there's a lot going on. So I haven't been writing so much lately, but I have been doing co-writes. I did a couple co-writes last month. That was really great. And yeah, like it's just a weird way of writing. I understand that. I think it's backwards. Most people have their guitar or something that they figure out the tune for. I just kind of hear it in my head, and then I have to try and get it out to whoever I'm working with that's producing the album or the song or whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome. You're kind of like channeling it through.
Yeah.
I love that.
I do a lot of like or like a lot of sound effects.
Awesome. So, well, let's get into some of that music. So you chose some awesome songs for this episode. And the first song you have for us is one of your songs called Worth, which was off your 2017 album called North Country. And that album actually also won Best Country Album at the Indigenous Music Awards in 2017. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So what's the story behind that song?
Worth is a song I wrote for, basically, like I was trying to think of what do people that are struggling right now need to hear. And then I used to struggle. I was very suicidal when I was younger. I have ADHD. I was just diagnosed this year. So so funny, like now that I look back, like all of that just is explained now, but back then I was really depressed. And I just needed to hear that I was worth it, that I was worthy of the life that I want, and to feel it and feeling okay and everything like that. And so that's where like the chorus came from. And at that time there was a huge crisis in one of the northern communities, and they were having so many people were committing suicide. It was really, really sad. And I was just like so heartbroken for them. So this song came out of that. Like I remember thinking like, oh, I wish I could just write a song for them, or write a song to help people in these situations, and that song it's so weird. I look at that song as like a gift, because it basically pour out of me like within 10 minutes. I was done writing that entire song within 10 minutes. And it's like that's probably gonna be like my most proud moment in my whole career. Even if it doesn't go far, it's always gonna be that, for me. So
It is such a beautiful song, and you're right, it's something that people really do need to hear and be reminded of, because we all feel like that every once in a while, and it's such a powerful message.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so let's get to that song. So here is Worth. So again, that is such a powerful song, and the music video for that was really powerful as well. So how did that music video come about?
Yeah, that's another thing that just like happened. It's like the universe just said, okay, let's just give it to everybody, and we're gonna do it through Jade. Like that, it wasn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just, because that I didn't pay very much into that, and that was a really expensive video to make, and I was getting donations for it for that reason, because the song is so important. And that was all pretty much paid by donations from different organizations and different people in my community and stuff like that. And it was done by this program called Just TV. And what they do is they're an inner city group in Winnipeg, and they teach youth how to songwrite, and they teach them how to do recordings and videos, and it's just a really, really good program. So I chose to put the money towards them because it would help their program a little bit more. And it was just amazing. Like everything just came together. Even the police officers in there, they donated their time, and Winnipeg Police Services donated their officers for it. So it was a really, really important message, and I really wanted it to come across the way that it did, and they did such a good job on it.
Oh, that's such an amazing program. So was it like the kids doing the music video, or was it somebody like that's in charge doing the music video?
It was because I hired them. It was a mentor. Yeah, but they helped with the editing and stuff like that. And like I said, that money went towards their program. So that was really good. Like I started. I actually got hooked up with my producer Marie Pulver through one of their programs. I was their first thing. Again, that was probably my first time ever songwriting or even blurting out any kind of lyrics to anybody like in a public space like that. So that's probably my first ever songwriting experience. But yeah, that's how I met Murray, and we've been writing songs together, and he's been producing all my music since then.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I love that. So kind of going back to songwriting, like what's your favorite part about songwriting? Like what do you love about it?
When that magic moment is like when it's done or getting close to being done, and you know that it's just your song that you're really proud of. We just did a write, me, Marie Pulver, and Rihanna Ray Sage, and we wrote 2 songs back to back within a few hours, and that doesn't happen very often. I know a lot of songwriters that, you know, I've tried to write with somebody and we'll be sitting there for 3 hours with one song, and I don't really I move through songs very quickly. So if I don't feel like I have like all the melody in my head within like 15 minutes, like just the melody at least, then it's just not going to happen. So when you get those moments where you connect with somebody in a songwrite, I've been in the past, I usually just write by myself. So those moments are becoming very awesome for me, I think.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I noticed you worked with Murray on your latest album.
Yes, I did.
And you produced it, and you as well as co-wrote?
Yeah. Yeah, the same thing. Like I wrote all those songs on my own, and then I take them there and I sing them all the song or whatever, and then we figure out if there's like a part missing once we get the actual music in there, because we might have to add lyrics, which usually happens, or change some lyrics. So he helps me like just like bring it all together. It's awesome.
Nice. So you picked some songs that have inspired you or influenced you in some way. And the first one you picked was Charlie Major's It Can't Happen to Me, which is a classic Canadian. Why did you pick this one?
So Charlie Major was my very first concert. That is why, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to put Charlie on there. And he's like a legend. I love that guy. And I've watched him more than once now, because I've Dauphin Fest. I've seen him a few times as well. And he's just awesome. He's just like a wholesome, you could just feel it when you watch him. You know what I mean? Like some people you feel very distant from, but he's just like a wholesome person. and his songs are amazing. So like I don't think they're ever gonna go away in Canadian music.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very Canadian. Like, I don't know if you ever really crossed over into the States. So any of you Americans listening, he's
Yeah,
very Canadian country artist.
he's our uncle.
Yeah. Well, here is Charlie Major's It Can't Happen to Me. So, you work as a millwright or an industrial mechanic, which I think is really cool. So how did that come about? Like, what made you become a millwright?
It's so funny. I fell into this. This is not a goal of mine. I was actually in nursing, and I absolutely, I knew it wasn't for me. I was just not a school person. And I had a bunch of friends that were at the same school as me taking their millwright. And one of them had mentioned that like school's only for 8 weeks a year, and then you have to like work on the job. So like, well, that actually sounds nice. Like that sounds something I could do, because like I said, I can't sit there for very long. Like so 2 months is like my max. So I applied to the company that I'm working for, and I got accepted. I was only planning on being here for a few years just until I figured out what I was going to do. And then I realized how expensive music was.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I guess I need a job if I'm going to have to support my dream. Right. So I've been doing it ever since. And it's like helped tremendously with my music career. So it worked out.
That's awesome. So what does a millwright actually do?
We do everything. Like it's so random. Like, I worked in a generating station most of my career, and so we just maintained the whole generating station and made sure that everybody was getting power and nothing was on. So we worked on like air compressors and pumps and different things like that. Currently I transferred over to a machine shop, so I'm learning how to machine right now. And just working on like gas relays and stuff like that. It's like, so it's very hydro focused, but like it's a really random thing. Like we could be plumbing one day, and we could
Okay.
like I said, just a little bit of everything. Of course, that's why I'm not at work right now, because I can't do lifting or random movements with my back. But I really like it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I also read that you, I don't know if you still do, but you used to travel a lot with your work, and you wrote songs kind of in the car.
Yeah. So I used to, I still do actually, because where I work is an hour from my house.
Okay.
So I still do a lot of traveling, but it's not the same because it's in the city. But I used to drive 5 hours one way weekly. So I would work 8 days on and 6 days off, and I would just drive up, drive back. And it was really nice actually, just to get like a little change of scenery once in a while. I really miss it. Especially because that's where I grew up, was where I was working. And then I live down south so I could work on my music. So nice balance to be at home.
Yeah. Cool. Are you close to Winnipeg then? Or?
Yeah, outside the city now.
Okay, cool. So let's get back to your music. So the next song you picked was one of your songs called Hangover Blues off your self-titled album, which was released last year. So what's the story behind this song?
This song, I just really like that beat, that doof, 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 doof. And I was like, man, I wish I could just write a nice fun blues song. Like, and I know that's not country at all, but I don't really care. Can't stay in one genre. If I really like that feeling that a song gives me, I just have to roll with it. So Hangover Blues is kind of like my next step to where I want to be, and I think I'm going to be going to more of an Americana kind of sound. I think it better suits who I am. So this song, it really helped me, I think, get to that next step, but still stay a little bit country. And this song actually is the best stream song that I have. I think last time I checked it was over 200,000. I'm not sure what it is at right now. on Spotify. So that was really incredible for me, and it has been. Like, I'm still like blown away by every time I look at, you know, Spotify for artists. I'm like, what? Like, who's out there? Somebody likes something that I did, and it's like such a really it's a really great feeling to see that, like, not because of the numbers, but because somebody's actually caring about, you know, what I wrote and the art that I made. So I just love it.
Yeah, that is such a good feeling when you're like connecting to people and like you see like the physical results of it where people are listening to it and you are affecting people in that way. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
more than just your mom saying, good job.
Yeah. You did it.
Yeah. Yay, good for you.
well, well, let's get to that song. So here is Hangover Blues. So I really love that song too, and I think your voice really shines on that song. Not that the other ones don't shine, but really comes through really well on that song. So I think the blues and the Americana will really suit you as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it. Like, I just love that feeling that I can just like let it out, belt it out. I love songs like that, and I hardly ever write those kind of songs for myself. It's so funny.
Oh, really?
I wish I could just write all belters.
Why
like
not? Just go for it.
Just like, and she just expands her whole horizon. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like great. And I wish I could write more like that, like where I could just actually get down in gritty and sing. I just love those kind of songs.
Yeah, and the production on that's really good. Like all the backing vocals on that, and like it just really has like that soul, I guess.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. So, what is something you've learned throughout your musical journey so far?
I've learned a little bit how to be more open. I used to be a very, very closed off person where I didn't want to tell anybody anything. And I always felt like everybody was going to judge me, or I was going to do something wrong. And I didn't want to be that person. Like, I asking questions. I hated, you know, not knowing things, but like, you can't learn until you ask those questions. But I've learned just to be who you are, like just be true to who you are, and you know, not worry too much about little things like that, because a lot of us get in our heads a lot. So I've just learned to just try and be more open altogether, even with the audiences especially.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that is like a hard thing, I think, for a lot of artists to be okay with being who they really are. And because you, as a singer, you can't, like, this is something I've had to work on too. Like, you realize you have to be open to connect with people. Like, singing is very heartfelt and heart-centered and very, you know, you're supposed to connect with people. So that is kind of, but you're also putting yourself in a vulnerable place, I get in front of people. So it is that balance, I think. And yeah, that's great. That's something that's you've been working towards. Because you have such a good voice and such good songs, people need to hear them. So the next song you have for us is Crystal Shawanda's You Can Let Go, which when you brought this song up when you're letting me know what songs to pick that you wanted to play, I totally forgot about this song, and this song, it always hits me right in the heart, and it's just like, oh. So thank you for reminding me of this one.
So I chose this song because I remember the feeling that it gave me when I first seen it, and not just because it's an amazing, because it is an amazing song. Like, that song just hits you, but because of Crystal, like just the fact that she was on my screen. That was when CMT was still a thing here in Canada. I think they still play it in the States, which is awesome, but I love CMT. But I used to sit there and watch videos, and then when she came on my screen, and it was just like an amazing feeling for me to see somebody that looked like me on the television, and it was very, very, very impactful in my life. So you know, she's just an incredible singer, an incredible writer, incredible human altogether, and so I just wanted to, you know, bring light to that song again, because it's just such a good song, and like everything that she stands for is so important. So
yeah, that's awesome, and thank you for reminding me of it. That's great. So
yeah.
Here is You Can Let Go by Crystal Shawanda. That song was also the fastest climbing single on the Canadian country singles charts
Oh
at the
wow.
time in 2008, I think it was released. Which
I love I met her the first time I met her was at Dog Fest, and I just like bawled my face off because I was so proud of her. Like to afterwards, and I think she still remembers because we're friends now. We actually talk to each other. So yeah, I brought that up with her one time. I was like, oh my god, I remember just like meeting her, and I was just crying. I was like, I'm so proud of you. So funny.
I love that. Are you ever gonna? Do you think you'd ever like co-write with her or do anything with her?
I'd love to co-write with her. Yeah, I think that'd be great. Desiree Dorian and her just did a co-write with their song, and their song did really well for Desiree. So yeah, I'd love that. That she's a really great writer, and that would be fun. I want to go to Nashville. I've never been,
Oh, no.
and I want to go there and do some in-person writes one day when I feel comfortable traveling again. But yeah, that's definitely one of a good goal of mine to write with her.
I would love to see that. So, kind of speaking of country music, what does country music mean to you? Like, what is it to you?
Country music is, you know, my outlet. Like I grew up with the radio playing nothing but country music. So I listened to a lot of Faith Hill and Martina McBride growing up, and the Judds before that, because my aunt she was able to sing the Judds perfectly. Like she's got an incredible voice. And so I just grew up, with those great vocalists, and that just is a whole part of my life now. Like I'll never, I don't think I'll ever lose that love for country music like that, and that feeling that it gives you. You're able to connect with a lot of the artists, or I have been throughout my life, and it's just the storytelling is really nice too. I just love it.
Yeah, I think being around the storytelling in country music is such a big part of it, and I think that's something that you're so good at too, is just telling the stories, and you have that big voice to do it. So that's great.
Yeah, I have a lot of right now what a lot of people keep saying that what's playing on the radio is not the stories that normal old school country used to play, and like I get it, but maybe there's just different stories out there. But I love to feel the music, like in your soul, heart, and a lot of like I said, what Faith used to do, and like I listen to that now, and I kind of laugh because I was really small listening to that, and I didn't know what was she was. I used to sing along with her as if I knew what she was even singing about. But now the stories make sense, and now it's like it just hits you a little bit more, I think, when you grow up and you re-listen to all those songs that you've been listening to, and it's so funny.
Yeah, mine was always Shania Twain, like being like a little kid listening to that Come On Over CD. Like you don't really understand what she's talking about, and then you kind of, as an adult, you look back, you're like, oh.
Probably been listening to that.
Yeah.
No, I love Shania. She's a queen too. Oh man, she's awesome.
Did you grow up in like a musical family? Like was music something?
No, I just absolutely love music. So no matter like where I went, I just always had to have like my family used to get me like CDs or tapes, I guess back then even. I don't even know what it would have been back then. Probably tapes. But no, we don't have a musical family at all. And then a lot of places that I lived, they didn't have any kind of music, anything. Like it was just like whatever you had. They were very remote communities. Like a lot of the places didn't even have running water that I would visit, or like in the places that I lived. And so like that's probably why I never ever picked up a guitar, because I never had that option to like even learn. But if I did have one, I probably would have been a really great guitar player, because nothing else to do back then but to sing and like hang out in my room. I remember just listening to music all the time, really, really loud. I feel so bad for my mom. I would be like singing like as loud as you possibly can in my room. It was so funny.
All right, well, let's get back to some more of your music. So the last song you chose for us was Highway Town, which is off your new album. So what's the story behind that song?
Highway Town, I wrote that song when I was traveling around. I was going from, I think the CCMA is the first time I went, and they were in Saskatchewan, and then I flew up to Alberta, and then we drove all the way through Alberta, and just like little highway towns. I grew up in a highway town like that, like where the people just drive through all the time. You always think that you'll never live there, but I grew up there. You know what I mean? It's just like, who lives in these places? But just remembering that, like, you have to leave those places to follow your dreams sometimes, and like that's exactly what happened to me. As soon as high school was done, I had to leave, and whether it was for school or for music, whatever, I had to leave because there was not enough resources. So that's basically what the song is about, just getting up out of your comfort zones and taking yourself out of there and following your dreams.
Has living in those small towns like influenced your music at all, or?
I think so. Like I'm a very country person at heart. Like we go hunting and fishing. My husband's a trapper and a fisherman, so I try, not so much lately since we've been down south. I found, but like when I was living up north still, we were outside. I was outside all the time, like just in the woods, finding like different medicines or whatever it is that I was doing that day, just out quadding even. So I think that's probably why country music too is a part of the way I grew up. And then I grew up in a very I went to high school in a very country town.
Okay.
I got with a bunch of farm kids. So that's probably a big reason why as well, like because they listen to country. We used to go and have big bonfire parties.
Oh yeah.
In high school, and yeah, it was all country music. It's so funny.
Awesome. Well, here is Highway Town. So we'll do 5 quick questions, just sort of whatever comes to the top of your head. It's just fun. So the first question is, what is your favorite snack food?
Chips. I'm so bad with, oh my God, I gotta stop.
What kind of chips? Like what flavor?
Literally, I've been loving cheesies lately. I absolutely love yeah, and ketchup chips. Of course, the United States, they don't understand that. Send me a DM and I'll send you guys some.
Yeah, and all dressed. I don't know if you're a fan of all dressed, but
yeah, all dressed are. That's so funny.
Another Canadian one. One place you would love to travel to?
I still want to go to Hawaii. And then there's Greece. I haven't been to Greece yet. I've traveled a lot of places. I'm luckily very blessed that way. Before COVID, I traveled all over. I went on tiki tours of Europe a few times, and I've been to Australia and a couple places in the States. And yeah, so I absolutely love to travel, but I would love to go to Hawaii for sure.
Cool. Are you a morning or night person?
Night. Yeah.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
And your favorite TV show?
I don't have one.
Okay.
The Kardashians, is that really bad?
We'll count it.
So funny. I find them so hilarious. So I just sit there and laugh at them all the time. I don't know. That's probably the most, that one, and Jersey Shore. I'm just a really bad show person.
Huh, I was not expecting that.
I love trash TV. So funny.
Right. I remember watching Kardashians when I was homesick, because there's nothing on TV, before Netflix and all this stuff, and you really get sucked into it. Yeah. It's really addictive, and you're like, this is fun.
I remember them it's so hilarious. I remember them drinking pineapple juice to see whose vagina smelled better. It's what? Who even thinks of this shit? It's so hilarious. I just have to laugh. They're crazy.
Well, I appreciate your enthusiasm for trashy TV.
So fun.
So where can people find you, to listen to your music?
I am on basically everything. But I for social wise, I really love TikTok. Jade Turner Music on TikTok, and then I also like Instagram. That's probably where you're gonna find me the most out of all of them. Socials are getting very aggressive these days.
They are.
Everything. There's so many.
And I'll also have all that information in the show description, so you can just click the link so you don't have to search her. So what is the last song you have for us?
I don't remember. What is the last song?
Well, let me tell you. It was Morgan Wade's Take Me Away.
Oh, I love Morgan Wade. So I wanted to choose Morgan because that's who I listen to right now. Like that is like the person that I'm listening to ever since her album came out in the fall. I've been listening to it nonstop. And then her deluxe album just came out, I think today. But she's such a good songwriter and I love her vibe that she gives off as well. And like just the sound of her music, I really love. So that's what I wanted to show y'all today.
Awesome. Yeah, she's really cool. I haven't listened to too much of her stuff, but yeah, I have to get into it a little bit more.
I love her. She's awesome.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me. This was a lot of fun. I'm really glad we could do this. And thanks so much for listening. And be sure to come back next week or whenever we can get our act together for more country music.